Now it is.
Okay, what's going on, YouTube? It's Christina and Martin from Thrift Store Gold back at you with another live stream interview. So today I'm here with my buddy Brandon from Retro Junk. So
what's going on, guys?
Brandon,
how are you?
We're doing good. So let's check the chat. I don't think anybody's gonna probably be in here yet.
Oops, sorry.
So this is my second interview I'm hosting with just other YouTubers and guys that are about making money. So to anybody who's rewatching or the people that are in the channel now. So I got Brandon with me for my second interview. He's all about vintage toys and whatnot. So if you want to say what's up, and then we'll kind of hop into it.
Sure. What's going on, guys? Brandon here. I've been buying, selling, collecting toys essentially my whole life. I still have a lot of the toys that I had originally as a kid, and it's just been growing from there.
That's awesome. So we've actually talked a bunch about your toys, and I really want to like see them all one day. I need to see them all one day.
Definitely. I actually went up to the room that has a bunch of my collection in it and grabbed a couple things to show you guys. So.
Sweet.
That's awesome. So real quick, who do we have? We have Mike. How's it going, Mike? And then Brian Willings. Hello. And
Chase Miller.
What's up, Chase? Good to see you in the chat and in the live. So yeah, let's start it off with the first question.
All right, our first question is, how can you tell the difference between an actual vintage toy compared to a newer one that's made to look like an older vintage toy?
That is a great question. For one, the quality of toys has gone down big time. Like, if you say you had a original vintage Ninja Turtle and you held it next to one of the newer ones, but that looks like one of the older ones, you can tell that there's a quality defect with the newer stuff. You can just how well it's built and how heavy duty it is back then compared to now. Now it's more like lightweight, plasticky, hollow characters, and you can just tell. As well as almost all figures will have the company that made them and the year they were made somewhere on it. Like, for instance, let's see. This is an old Ninja Turtle figure.
Oh,
wow. And you're not going to be able to see it on this camera, I'm sure. But it says 1989 Mirage Studios Playmates on the bottom, on his butt.
Okay.
Okay.
So it'll usually be on the butt, the lower back, or like the inner thigh.
Oh, okay. I never thought to look on the inner thigh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like some G.I. Joes I know will have it on the inner thigh. And one of them that's really hard to find is Transformers, because there's so many like detailed like crevices and everything. You never know. I'm always I can never find the thing.
All the moving parts and everything.
Just gotta look all over it.
Like, for instance, original Transformers will say Takara on them. That's the company that made them.
Takara. Okay. I'm gonna write that down. Yeah, write that down. So then I guess we'll do the second question.
Yeah. All right. What are your top 3 brands that you look for toys?
With toys, I almost go more for subject matter than I do brands.
Okay.
Like, once again, I know the vintage Turtle stuff sells well. I know the vintage Ghostbusters stuff sells well. But if we're going brands, Lego is always good, whether it's new or old. I know you guys have had some success with Lego already on your channel or on your eBay. So when I look for Lego, I'm looking for either sealed, brand new stuff. I'm looking for stuff that is open but complete.
Okay.
And minifigures. Minifigures always sell.
Yeah, we sold just the body of a minifigure once.
Yeah, I saw that that was in one of your earlier videos.
Yeah, it was the body to Quicksilver. He's a Marvel character.
Oh wow! What kind of
is that?
That's Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. You could only get him in the Black Pearl set, and just this figure alone sells for like $50 to $60.
Holy crap!
Jeez.
Yeah. Little Davy Jones. Yep.
That's crazy. Just for that.
So, yeah, so Lego's definitely a big brand that I'm always on the lookout for. Like I said, the old Turtles, we'll say Mirage or Playmates, and then if we're going back further, Kenner is a big name that you'd see on a lot of vintage toys. KENNER.
Thanks.
If you want like early action figures, like the superheroes, Mego is a company that made those. MEGO. And yeah,
I feel like I've seen that before. I feel like I've recognized that. I don't know.
They're highly collectible, especially if you can find them complete with like the clothing and whatnot.
Okay. We'll have to look out. I know my family used to collect like superheroes and stuff like that. So I don't know if I can sell any of them, but I mean it'd be cool to see them.
Exactly. Yeah, they bring in a high dollar if you can find them, so.
Wow.
That's awesome. We'll have to look for them.
Never even heard of that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I could go all day about brands, but
yeah, true. There are a lot of toy brands out there.
That's why I go more by subject matter, and I go with what's hot at the time. So
that makes sense. Yeah, to go with, I guess like a subject, because there's more options in like a subject.
Exactly.
Yeah. A specific brand.
Yeah.
All right. So then, is there a specific year that you tend to look for, or like a year before or after that toys were made from?
Honestly, for me, I kind of buy a little bit of everything. Obviously, I stick to the retro. So what I consider retro is, like, for instance, this line of Ninja Turtles, they're like dinosaurs.
Yeah.
I found them recently at Savers. And they were actually one of the last lines of like the retro Turtles. You know how they're like more cartoony now and they changed them?
Yeah.
So these were like one of the last lines of the old school version. And this is 1997.
Oh, okay.
So essentially anything under 2000 really, but the farther back you go, the better for me.
Okay.
And then you guys know I'll pick up more recent stuff like Paw Patrol or Thomas.
Yeah.
And that stuff as well. But if we're talking strictly retro, late 90s and earlier is what I go for.
Okay.
Good to know, because I know we found some like toys and Ninja Turtles. Oh
no! Technical difficulties.
Yeah.
But we found some.
I was waiting for that.
I know. Oops. Yeah, we found some like Ninja Turtles and stuff before that were like early 2000s, or they even like looked older, and we weren't sure if it was like what was a good like point of reference for a year.
And then a couple of like Barbie stuff from like I think they were like 91 or 92, but it was a Corvette, but it didn't have any batteries or anything to it. It was like gutted.
Yeah.
And then another thing with Barbies that you want to be careful with, even if they're newer Barbies, sometimes they'll still be stamped like 1969, or because they use the old molds with the new Barbies. So you always kind of got to look them up specifically.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's way easier, obviously, if you find them in the box, because the box is usually dated and you can tell it's a modern box. But if they're loose, you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. I know, because I have seen Barbies with like 1916 or whatever year that they were like.
It was 60 something, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And I know I've seen them before. I'm like, oh my gosh, like we should get this. But then like actually looking at it, like it's like a new Barbie, and it's like
exactly.
Yeah.
So we've skipped that.
It's funny. I've never, like you guys said, this is my first live, and I keep like looking at you guys instead of
I know.
Yeah, like because I'm having a conversation.
I know. I keep looking down there, and then you're up there.
Yeah, you gotta stop that.
We're exposing all of our room.
Okay, I think I saw some Funko Pops back there.
Yeah, just a few.
I'm just gonna keep the bottom open so we can pass free.
But I guess
stuff over.
Before we get into another question, someone did ask us, and I didn't realize. What do you mean minifigures? Do you mean the Lego minifigures? So back to the Lego.
Back to Lego. Anytime you hear me say minifigures or minifigs, that's what I'm referring to as the Lego characters.
the little Lego dudes, mostly yellow.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, but let's see. Actually, talking about pops, our next question was, what is or was your most valuable Funko Pop?
Martin and I actually talked briefly about this on our Instagram live, I believe it was. But back when I had my original collection, those pops were from like beginning of 2013. And I had a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive gold Loki. I actually hadn't looked it up in a while. I sold it back when it was 200, so I got 200 for it. And that was how much did I pay for it? It was when the con first came out. It was like $15, $20.
Wow. And then how long did you have it for before you sold it?
I probably had it 2 or 3 years before I sold it.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
But it depends. Some of them shoot up pretty quick. Some of them slowly go up. But I sold it for 200. If I had it today, literally checked the solds right before we went on, and I believe the last one sold for around 1,600 on eBay.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, which sucks. But you know, I mean, I still made quite a good amount of profit. It just sucks what could have been. But in this game, you know, you can't dwell on the past. You just got to keep pushing forward.
Yeah,
that's the only way you're gonna make money. So I can't really complain. I made money, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Oh,
it's like stocks. It's like stocks. You don't want to sell off your stocks too early, but
true, yeah. But if you don't have the space, then
exactly. That was when we were in an apartment back then, so I sold off a lot of my stuff.
Okay.
Now, have you ever got like a storage unit or anything for anything that you've had? No.
No, I'm cheap, man. I cut corners anywhere I can. I'm trying to make money, not spend it. So no, never done a storage unit. Although my wife would love me to, I'm sure.
Yeah. That toys up in the living room and everything.
Not really in the living room. Only if I like buy a fresh bin of stuff and I haven't sorted it yet. That's I just drop it in there and get to it when I get to it.
Mike actually wants to know what's your minimum profit margin on toys.
It's tough for me because I'm a collector first and then a reseller.
Yeah.
So if it's something that I kind of have a fondness towards, I'll tend to make that margin smaller because I don't care if I end up having to keep it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but if I'm strictly in it for money, with me, say I spend 10, and then you got to factor in the shipping and all that because I always do free shipping. So I factor that into my price. If I'm spending $10, I'm usually trying to make at least 30.
Okay.
I mean,
that's a good
you really have to value your time, and a lot of the time I'm even cheaper than that. Like I get mad when the bags are like $4.99 at Savers because they used to all be like $1.99, $2.99, and now a lot of them are $7.99, $8.99, and it's just ridiculous.
Not worth it.
Exactly. Like for instance, you guys saw the big haul from the weekend with all the E-Man, all the everything. Like I filled the back of my car literally, and then I only paid $100 for that. Like,
if you guys haven't seen that video who's been watching, you guys got to go watch that. His channel is actually in the description, so go subscribe and watch that video.
It's honestly one of the best hauls of my life. Yeah,
I can. It's insane.
Sorry to cut off there.
It's cool, man. But the best part was the majority of it. I literally did not know what was in the boxes until I was shooting that video a lot. Like one cut. Like you guys were going through it like with me.
That's
all I did at the house was like open the box, saw what was on top, and these were huge boxes. Like they fit they barely fit in my car, really. But I was opening them up, scanning the top. If I liked like the subject matter, I closed it up and I was like, okay, I'll take this one and put it to the side. So the lady was there. Her and her husband were putting the house on the market, and they were looking to get rid of stuff as fast as possible. I don't do this to rip people off. Typically I ask first what they're looking for because I hate to be that person to start the starting number.
Yeah.
I never want to like disrespect anyone or anything like that. So when I got there, she was like, you know, a couple bucks, and she's an older lady. I'm like, what does a couple bucks mean? So I put the boxes in my car. I'm like $100. She was like, oh my, that's more than enough. Yes, that's fine. So
oh my god,
that was once again before I knew that that one big valuable piece was in the collection.
Yeah, that's just so awesome. If only she like knew that. Like not really,
I know.
like.
And her husband were so sweet, so I imagine even if they knew, they wouldn't have like overpriced it. Yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
That's wild.
It's cool to like, meet people like that
Yeah.
too, you know, that are just so genuine. They're just like, oh, you know, we just don't want it anymore. Like we just want it to go to a good home.
Exactly. And not a lot of that stuff, most of the He-Man stuff's gonna go because that's a little before my time. But what I do when I buy large lots like that is I typically won't buy something if there's not at least a couple pieces that I want personally for my So I'll buy it and then either resell or trade everything, and I just end up buying more stuff with that. So it's not like I'm even making a profit most of the time, but I'm doing it because I like it.
Okay.
And then the stuff that I make a profit on is like the sealed stuff I find at Goodwill or like or the newer items. So essentially I'm making money but also funding my habit.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. You're like giving back to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I donate a lot too. Like there was a bunch of the old little people's houses and airports, and I gave those to an after school program. So
that's
awesome.
That's sweet.
Yeah. I worked in an after school program for like 12 years. So
oh wow.
Yeah.
You have a special place in your heart then.
Exactly.
All right, but Mike wants to know also, would you say that you would be able to find profitable toys at tag sales and thrift stores on a daily basis?
I have been doing very well recently. Winter's always slower because yes, tag sales are my favorite. You never know what's gonna be there, and it's usually dirt cheap. So I always like that the best. That's why I'm waiting for the warm weather, specifically for tag sales.
Yeah.
The thrift shops, once again, I've been doing okay recently. But you guys know, I keep forgetting to send it to you, but remind me again, the want ad sample that I use, that is by far my best resource. So I'll go in like the Facebook tag sale groups and stuff like that. And it's really just, I used an app on my phone. It's like a poster maker or whatever, and listed all the stuff I'm looking for with a couple random pictures. And I spam every group with that.
Wow.
And a lot of them are like post once a month or whatever. They have their little guidelines.
Once a month.
Okay.
But yeah, I get a lot of messages from that.
That's really cool. We really want to get into that want ad, so I'll have to actually remember that.
Please do, because I forget everything.
I mean, both of us too.
But yeah, the big haul from this weekend was from one of the want ads.
Yeah. Oh yes, that's what you were saying. But we have Breaking Profit in here. He said, "Smash that like button." 3 amazing hustlers here.
What's up, Steve?
How's it going, Steve? Everyone smash that like button. That's awesome.
Mark is in here too, by the way. He said, "Hey,
hey, Mark."
Oh, hey, Mark.
How are the books going, Mark?
Yes, we want to know about your books, Mark, because we need some tips on books.
Yeah.
But back to our questions, actually. It's back to the pop question. What kind of pops would you look out for now? Or what kind of pops do you really look for now?
Typically now, it stinks because if you know about pops, they have their regular figures, and then there'll be a variant of some of the figures called a chase, which is like a limited edition piece. What stinks about the chases now is back when I first started collecting, they were every 1 in 36. So you'd get only 1 chase per case.
Oh, wow.
Now they lowered the ratio. It's 1 in 6. So for every 6, there's a chase.
I didn't know they lowered
that. So they're, yeah. So that's why the older chases bring in higher dollar, because they didn't make as many of them. And now they like pump them out.
Okay.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So I'll still buy a chase if it's for like retail, because it'll at least almost always at least double in price. But a lot of times those chases will be super expensive when they first come out.
Yeah.
But if you want one for your collection, just wait because they drop off heavily.
Oh, okay.
Like for example, when the Pennywise chase from It, when it first came out, it was like 200, 250, and now I want to say it's probably down to like $40.
Really?
Really? Wow.
Yeah, just once again because they made so many of them. Another one that I look for is the Comic-Con exclusives.
Yeah, we have a few of those. Yeah. Well,
those are the ones.
A few of those.
They don't always go crazy in price, but they're more limited. There's less of a chance for you to be able to get them. So that's another one that I look out for.
All right. Good to know. Good to know. Steve wants to know if you only had $5, Brandon, and needed to turn it into 500 in the next 30 days, what would you do?
Ooh. He always has to. Yeah, he always has to put me on the spot with the tough questions. That's he's a character. Honestly, if I have 30 days, I'm making 500, making 500 out of $5 strictly on. I bet I could do it on Savers bags.
Oh yeah,
even with the increase in price, I think I could pull it off. I might have to do a video series and see if I could actually do it.
If you could do it.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
That would be really cool. We could
try to do it and then like have a competition of it or something.
Yeah. So you start with $5. Maybe it gets you a bag. If you get lucky, you'll get a couple $1.99 ones. So maybe 2 bags. And then you gotta sell items from that bag and only use that money to keep going. Yeah. I think it would be pretty cool.
30 days.
It'd be tough. It'd be tough, but I think I can do it.
Well, maybe we'll try something with that. We'll have to have we can do it as well.
Yeah.
I bet you another good one that you could probably do it in is books. But that's if I actually took the time and dealt with books, I bet you could do it.
Yeah. Reagan said, "That's my idea. It's trademarked, Brandon. You can't do it."
What is he talking about? He's gonna want to do it against me on his channel, though.
All right. So back to our questions, though. Number 5 is, where do you do most of your sourcing for vintage toys?
We kind of already covered it.
I know.
That's okay though. Once again, the biggest thing for me is that one ad. Other than that, it depends on the season. Once again, too. Tag sales and flea markets are the best. You find the steals, and once again, you can get them for really cheap. I still have luck with the thrifts, but I also hit them super often. Like Goodwill in town, I've been to. Like, there's been days where I've been there 3 times in the same day.
That's crazy.
Really?
And I've found stuff each time. That's because they're constantly bringing out bins. So you have to be super diligent. And it's also very close to my house. So I'm driving by it multiple times a day already.
Yeah. So that makes it convenient.
Right.
So then our next question was, any brands or toys to stay away from or that you typically don't get?
Yeah, if actually Rakin and I did a video on that too, our toys to avoid video.
Yeah.
I talk about like McDonald's Happy Meal toys. And there's exceptions to each one of these. They're not like complete misses, but the chance of you making a good amount on these items is slim just because there's so few of them that are worth decent money. So like the Happy Meal toys, there's some vintage sets that do really well as sets. Right. But you're selling 1 or 2 at a time. It's not worth your time. Let's see, what else did we talk about? Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels are super collectible. But you guys know, you go to Walmart, what are the 97 cents or whatever it is for new ones. Once again, the exception to that is they put out they're called like treasure hunts. So it'll be a certain number of cars marked with that symbol, and they're super hard to find, but they'll be worth something. So once again, it's how you value your time. If a lot of the stuff just takes a lot of time to find the money, and in the end, it's not worth it.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've heard though that Beanie Babies, that you can either do well or do really bad with them. Do you have any?
Yeah, exactly. There's an exception, like all the other ones. Everyone thinks the purple Princess Diana bear is worth a ton of money.
I have that, and I thought it was.
Yeah, so do I. I have literal probably 2 or 3 garbage bags of Beanie Babies in my parents' attic. Like we used to go to McDonald's before school just to get the mini ones in the set, and like it's ridiculous. But essentially with Beanie Babies is there's like I think it's like 12 to 15 original, like from the original set are worth good money. And then like before they had the cute like current bears, like they made the newer bears, they had ones that look like old school teddy bears in the face, and they were pretty ugly. But those ones are of course worth money. They made way less of them. Once the fad caught on, they started mass producing them more and more. So they're they're everywhere. You see them everywhere.
So I have a lot of Beanie Babies from like when my mom and dad were getting from me. What year did they start? Do you know when they started like mass producing them?
I want to say they came out in like 93, something like that. Like the early ones. It sounds right to me. What you can look for is variations in the tag. If you Google like Beanie Baby tags, it'll show by generation. And those earlier ones that are like more plain without the gold rim or stuff like that, typically that's something you can look for, and those might be worth looking up.
I have to so many.
Because you never know. You never know. So many were sold that you could have a rare one. You could have one that has like an error that might be worth more money. So
yeah, I'll have to look into that. Yeah.
Once again, that's one of the things. Like they made a ton. So if you're out in the store and see a bin of them, it's not really worth your time. But if you like, for instance, you could just do it anytime, like in your downtime, and just look through them. Yeah, and that's totally worth it. Because why not? But
yeah, for sure. Yeah. But Steve actually asked, what percentage of sellers at flea markets know what they are selling in terms of toys? Is it a big opportunity? Sorry, I missed that. So back to flea market.
I'm glad Steve's here. He's got some good questions too.
Yeah.
On top of your guys'
Maybe we'll have to bring him on the Google Hangouts.
Yeah, right. I'm sure he would love that actually. Flea market sellers, for the most part these days, know what they have. I even sell at flea markets sometimes, but people come to me knowing that I do know what I have, but I'll still give them a good deal. Like there's people at the flea market who completely like ask eBay prices, but I won't do that. I mean, they're taking the time to come out. As long as I know that I'm still making a good amount of money, I give out the best deals that I can. Unfortunately, most people at a flea market won't do that. Like that's why I have people who, like the following week, they ask me, "Are you going to be here next week? Are you going to be here next week?" Because they know that I bring new stuff and that it's reasonably priced. You'll still get the diamonds in the rough. There's junk guys who like clean out houses and they'll just bring truckloads of stuff, not even care what they make. Like everything's $1 because they're doing volume instead of. Yeah. So there's definitely opportunity to make money at a flea market, but they do get more and more savvy to what they have and value. That's why I like tag sales. That's even better chances that you're going to get stuff cheap.
We'll have to look into tag sales because we haven't ever been to one or done one. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, I've been around tag sales, yard sales, whatever, my whole life because I used to go. My grandmother and my mom were both huge tag sailors. So from when I was a kid, I used to go, and I just never stopped. Really.
You learned from a young age.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. So our next question is toys.
Why toys? If you couldn't tell, I'm a big kid. I mean, like I brought some more stuff out. Toys just take you back to your childhood, and I mean, the majority. Here's an old Ghostbusters Ecto 1.
Oh wow,
that's really
the original one with the old Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and the old Slimer.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So it's just that nostalgia feeling. Like,
Yeah.
what better memory do you have from your childhood or in life in general than toys? You know, they're almost always attached to a good memory, unless you have that one toy that you loved and you like lost it, or like, you know. But if you think about it, for the majority, it's all good memories, and just for that simple reason, it's toys. But then you add the fact that people will spend money on memories, you know? So it started as the collection, and then I was like, if I'm doing this anyways, why not make some money? Like, it seems, you know, why not?
And I feel like toys do so well right now just because like the generation that's growing up now did not have like the toys that we had, or even like before us, you know. And so like people are looking to like get those toys again to like maybe not bring around their kids, but just to have, because they don't make anything. Yeah, like they don't make stuff like that how they used
to. Even like I was talking about earlier, the quality is so much better. Stuff now, you're lucky if it lasts 2 weeks without breaking, you know. It's just completely different. And it's ridiculous because the toys have gotten cheaper physically and more expensive to buy. So
a lot more expensive.
It is crazy.
But Mark was saying, let's see, little golden books are worth money. Those are like, they're.
I actually have a box of them in my car right now.
Yeah.
The lady from that big haul this weekend gave me a box of it's little golden books and the Berenstain Bears books. And a couple others, and she was like, you could donate them, whatever, but I'll probably end up, I mean, we got our daughter on the way, so I'll probably keep some of the kids.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Books. I loved them. But he said also pop-up books and some kids series books. So look
Pop-up. I always loved pop-up books when I was a kid. The pop-up books, or the books that had like the little buttons with the sounds connected. You know, so they had, like Batman ones and stuff, and you'd get to the picture in the book and press the.
That was cool. I love those. I had a lot of like Disney, like Mickey Mouse ones and like princess ones.
Or the ones with like fur on it, like the fur stuff.
Exactly.
With like you can pet it.
Yeah.
Or scratch and sniff. Those were good too.
Yeah, those are cool.
But Mark also wanted to know about any Back to the Future toys. Still waiting for his hoverboard.
Oh man, I know. I'd like the hoverboard or those crazy Nike Air Mags. They're like $12,000 self-lacing crazy sneakers.
That would be
Back to the Future toys. That's one thing I don't have much of. I have a few Funko Pops that are Back to the Future, but
I didn't even know.
Yeah, none of the original toys.
That'd be cool to get like an original Back to the Future toy, though. I feel
that's something. Actually, I should probably look up values because I don't really come across it often. So I imagine it holds pretty good value.
That's especially because it's such a. I don't know about like now, but in 2015 or whatever year that they were going back to, like it was such a big fad, and like everybody wanted like Back to the Future stuff. So,
exactly.
Who knows? But Kentucky Tycoon asked something about. Hold on, sorry I missed it. It was about Nintendo games.
Oh, cool! I brought some of those too.
Yeah, what's your favorite Nintendo 64 game?
Ooh, hold on, let me grab something real quick. 1 second.
Okay.
Oh, he's gone. I see we got the valet picker in the house. What's up, Greg? And then Noah from Wholesale Direct. How's it going? If you guys haven't checked out our interview from yesterday, go check that out. Oh, looks like he's showing his toy.
Oh, wow, he has it.
So this is my original Nintendo 64 from Christmas of 1998 that I got from my grandparents.
Wow.
We have it hooked up down in my basement. We were playing some James Bond the other day. So
it still works. Wow.
Oh yeah, it works. Nintendo 64 are usually pretty good. They last forever. The original Nintendo is a bit more finicky and hard to get working sometimes, but
those are the ones you have to like blow on.
Yeah, and of course, after all these years, apparently you're not really supposed to do that.
Yeah, I heard.
Really?
It works. So
yeah, exactly, it works.
That's crazy.
But my favorite Nintendo 64 game is probably GoldenEye. which is the 007 like shooter.
Oh, okay.
Either that or Mario Party.
Mario. Anything Mario's fun.
Yeah. It used to be Mario Kart, but after playing like the current new Mario Kart and going back to that one, it is boring. It is so boring. They just look like they move so slow and the graphics are terrible.
Yeah, that is one thing they have stepped up. Mario Kart.
Mario Kart on the Switch is incredible. It's my favorite thing.
Let's see. Mike said, would you say the old Power Ranger toys are profitable?
Ooh, I should have brought those down. Power Rangers is one of the ones that I collect, so I have like a huge bin that's just all Power Ranger. But on Power Rangers, it depends on the piece. There's a couple more rare pieces that are worth good money, and they still command a pretty good value if you still have the packaging, like the boxes and stuff.
Okay.
The loose figures will do well if they're complete with their like weapons and all that. But just like any other like action figure line, there's a select few that are going to be higher value than.
Okay.
Because with every line, there's always ones that are less produced.
Yeah.
Because at the time, they didn't think they would be big sellers, so they made less, and now there's less, so they cost more. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So is it like just original Power Ranger toys, you think? Because like I know there's so many versions of the Power Ranger now.
There is, yeah. I'd have to do my research on the Power Rangers because I've never bought any of the current ones. Okay. So that is something I'm actually not too sure of, but that gives me a good reason to check them out.
Yeah. Gotta check, see what they're worth. Della Nelson said, is the original Nintendo 64 box only worth anything, or the manuals?
Yeah, I will sometimes in my want ads I put out that I'll buy just boxes and manuals because think about it, if you got a video game as a kid, what's the first thing you did? Tore that thing open and played the game. You didn't half the time you tossed the box and the manual. Because one, who wants to read a manual? You just want to play the game. So unless it was like a tricky game where it literally told you steps and stuff, then you'd want it. But it was tossed out most of the time. So there are super rare games where the manual is like $200.
Wow.
Or the boxes can be worth more than the game itself. So it's crazy. And that's because collectors are completists and they want it complete in box, in good condition, and the boxes and manuals are just so few and far between. For instance, I got these games.
Super Mario too.
These are original Nintendo. Wow. And these boxes are beautiful. These came from that same lady who
really?
I got all the toys from. That's Zelda. And Metroid. But yeah, these are all complete. They have the manuals. They have like the boxes are taller than the game, so there's like a little foam piece that goes in the bottom of the box. And it's all here, which is
that's really awesome. I mean, you took care of everything then.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
But Kentucky Tycoon said the original Nintendo 64 box just sold on eBay for $60.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
I don't always like giving out prices because that stuff is changing constantly. So I mean, I'll get the haters on the video anyways, but like say, it's worth $25, and they go on and see that one sold recently for $50. They're always like, oh, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. So
so the prices are on the hush.
Yeah. I always refer people to sold listings. That's your best gauge to see what stuff is going for, because it shows you the price, but it also shows you the most recent one that sold. So that's your best judge with almost anything.
Yeah, that's really what like helps us. Like when we first started, we were just looking at like the active listings, and then we realized that we had to look at sold listings, and
exactly that's a beginner mistake. A lot of people don't know because up until now there weren't many YouTube videos that went into detail on how to start, and it takes people like us and like you and like just everyone putting in their info, and that's what's cool about the community that has grown, and that it's a little easier to get started now because of these kind of videos, really.
Yeah.
It is really cool. That's one thing when like Martin first started, why I wasn't in any of his videos, because I was like, whatever, you know, like, but then he really started to get into it, and just like the community and everything, and like just how interesting like everyone made it seem, like that's why I wanted to like jump on the band.
It's incredible. It's a cool community. I mean, I was in something similar, like a Funko type forum that I was a part of when I was really heavy into collecting, like the original stuff. And those people were like family. They're the nicest. Like, it's just because you get so many like-minded people together, and it's just cool to be around so many people who are into the same things as you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in your everyday life, you don't get that. So
exactly. Yeah. There's not like a billion other people around us that are like reselling all the toys.
Exactly. And like the Funko forum, they did like a Secret Santa, and like it was just cool. So you'd get a bunch of cool Funko stuff from like someone you've never met in real life, but it was just cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is really cool. That's really awesome. But we're on our last question now. So have you actually sold any of your personal kids' toys?
I'd say not. I don't want to say not knowingly, but I know like when I was younger, and my parents have had a couple tag sales, and when I was like in my early teens and I was like, I want to make money, I probably sold off some things that I shouldn't have. But for the most part, I kept a lot, probably at least 75% of my childhood toys.
Wow.
That's really crazy.
And my mom is awesome. And she would fold down the boxes flat, like after I opened stuff, and save like the boxes. And so really haven't sold too much, but there's been some rarer original Pokemon cards when I was like kind of growing out of the Pokemon phase. I sold a couple at a tag sale. I know that. There's this other like 2 foot tall, 2-3 foot tall. It's pretty big. Godzilla. It's called a Shogun Warrior. I believe they were in the 80s. They were mostly robots, but then like from Japan, but they had a big Godzilla, and I still have like a couple pieces from it, but last time I went to my parents to look for stuff, I could not find it, and I'm really worried that we might have sold it at a tag sale.
That would be so disappointing.
But yeah, more recently, nothing really from my collection. Pretty much because of the reselling, I can afford to keep it now. So why would I get rid of it? You know?
Exactly.
Yeah. That kind of answers our next question, or our question, which was, if no, why not? Which, I mean, like, that actually like makes a lot of sense. Like, if you can afford to keep them, why sell them?
Yeah, don't get rid of stuff that means something to you, because we all need that something, and you don't want to take away that part of you.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
It makes me wish that I still kept most of my toys, or like kept them in good condition, because I know I did not.
I know. Yeah, I don't even have any of my toys.
Yeah, I mean that's the majority. I think. I mean, you always hear, "Oh, my parents sold my stuff," or
they just gave it
or
away.
donated it. Yeah, exactly. Or you have like younger cousins or family friends who have kids, and you hand them down, and you wish you didn't now, but
like I used like those sit and spins. I know Zach. I used to have so many of them, and like I know they've been all just passed down to like cousins or whatnot, like colored on. And
I mean, the cool thing is that that's what toys are for, and they're serving their purpose and making kids happy. But you just wish you had it sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah, I really do.
Because then, like, you start having kids, and you're like, I want them to experience what I experienced.
Oh yeah.
That's what I've thought about too. Because like I said, like the toys were, like you said, the toys now are so just like crappy compared to old ones. Like I don't want to get like crappy toys for our kids.
Exactly. So I've been picking up stuff while I'm out sourcing for like our daughter now too. Already, I'm like starting.
Yeah. Gotta look out for the good stuff.
You're worried about the toys, not the diapers or anything.
Yeah.
Clothes.
Oh my, we have so many like bins of hand-me-downs already because I've had a couple cousins and my aunt that all just had little girls within the past year. So
oh, you're set. Yeah,
we are good. Yeah.
That's pretty awesome though. Let's see.
Any questions?
Mark said he had Legos and he gave them to his brother when he was a kid, and he found a Dukes of Hazzard lunchbox he had when he was a kid. Those old lunchboxes, the metal ones with like old shows and whatnot. I know like there was a Sesame Street one.
Yeah, they have one for everything.
Yeah.
And if you have them complete with the thermoses that match, they can bring in big bucks too.
Yeah. Yeah, my mom had a Garfield one for the longest time. I don't remember what happened, but she dropped like a box or something on it.
Oh,
no.
I don't
know, but it smushed it. So.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. But yeah, that was all of our questions that we had for you.
Yeah.
So.
That was awesome.
Yeah, that was really well.
Yeah,
that went really well.
Yes.
I haven't even been looking at the chat this whole time, so I hope no one thinks I'm ignoring them, but I haven't even been.
I know it's really hard with Google Hangouts to like look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a delay, so
yeah,
there is.
Yeah. But I think that was it for questions and stuff on here. So
well, I really appreciate you joining the channel.
Yeah, we really appreciate you.
Yeah.
And awesome. Anytime.
Yeah. Very honored.
And like I said, I can't wait to have you guys down again. We'll do some sourcing and hanging out, and have a good time.
We're so excited to come down.
Yeah.
And by then, maybe the little one will be here, so I'll put you guys to work.
I know. I'd love to. I don't mind.
Babysitting.
All right.
Me and Brandon will go out sourcing and you can babysit.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm bringing the baby sourcing with me. I have one of the little front backpacks.
Yeah.
I'll be like Alan from The Hangover.
Yeah. Did you see my last video? We found that shirt in the thrift store.
Yeah.
I did see that. Anyways, but yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on, and I'm sure we'll be back at it again soon. We'll have to do that the 5 to 500 idea.
Yeah, I have to talk about that.
Yeah.
Or even if we started at like 5, turning 5 into 100, and then like level up.
Yeah, I know exactly.
But we'll talk about that and see where it goes.
Yeah, that would be
good.
something cool to talk to do.
Message me after this to remind me about
I was
the.
gonna say, don't forget the want ad.
All right, guys. Have a good day.
Angie, she just hopped in. She was at the Thrift meetup. She was
Angie. Hey.
Yeah. That's cool that she made her way to the live stream.
Yes. Hello. I
didn't know Greg was in the house too.
Yeah.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, Greg was watching. That was awesome.
Oh, I think he walked away when you gave him a shout out or whatever. Yeah, but
Neil, I got his link in my description, so you can go subscribe right there to his channel.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Retro
I appreciate that.
1987 with underscores.
Yeah, exactly.
Same with his Instagram as well. So you can definitely see all his cool pictures with all his pops and everything. So.
Oh, yeah, I love Instagram, man. I use Instagram probably the most.
Yeah, you're always on Instagram.
Well, if that is it for questions, I think I never did end up eating dinner, so I think I'm gonna go do that.
Well, we appreciate you staying on for so long, almost an hour. So that was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, if you couldn't tell, I love it. So anytime you guys want to go on, we could. I could bring some more toys and whatnot, and we'll just hang out.
All right. Well,
sounds good. All right.
Thank you for coming on, Brandon. Thank you guys for watching. Everyone,
thanks, guys.
Before you leave, make sure to smash that like button.
Yes.
And yeah, that was the second interview. That went really well.
Awesome.
Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
Yeah.